Make the ground shake.
Hello guys and welcome to another tank review. This time we are going to look at the Tier 9 heavy tank, the American Tier 9 heavy tank, the M103. Now here is the tank itself in all of its glory, and if I'm honest, it's a funky looking tank, but it gets the job done really. As always, let's take a look into the armor first. And first things first, the hull. Upper plate is rather okay-ish. I mean, it is pretty at an okay angle, pretty close to an autobounce, but these zones here can be penetrated. But usually nobody shoots you over here because it is very close to a ricochet zone. The lower plate, however, is rather weak. Even the Russian the standard Russian 122mm can sometimes get an easy penetration if he catches your lower plate like this, which isn't really uncommon since the M103 is really tall. The side of the hull is rather weak, with this part here even at 44mm, which is an auto pen for a lot of guns, and these zones here at 57, but you get these humongous tracks which do out as 20mm of spaced armor, which means that side scraping is a viable option at a lower caliber gun, because as I said, this zone is only 44, so a 150mm gun for instance can easily go through this. When we come to the turret, it's a bag of mixed emotions really, because the gun mounted is really strong. As you can see here, only around it's almost never really below 300 around the gun maybe, but I would not shoot at this because the rest of the turret is pretty crap. These chicks here, they aren't that obvious really, but they are an easy penetration. As you can see, around 200mm of penetration. 220 is enough to pen this, but you have to be careful not to go into the ricochet zone, as you can see here. The turret hatch obvious weak spot only 101mm, and it's pretty tall, so and it is easily penetrable by anything you will meet, so always wiggle the turret back and forth, and I think you'll be fine. The problem is that it is so tall that when you use your gun depression to its extent like this, it's okay, but I've had fights when I was being shot at and I couldn't even see the enemy. The turret roof is also pretty, it's okay, it's not an it's actually an auto pen really. That is what I've discovered now, only 38mm, so a 128mm gun can just shit all over this. So the point of the story is, don't brawl if possible, don't take heavy fire, peekaboo, because the gun is pretty okay. Never go head to head because you have such an easy penetration on these chicks here, plus the turret ring is rather weak as well, so you have to be very careful of what you do with this thing. Plus it's an anti-magnet really, because just look at the side profile of how huge it is, so always face your enemy, never get flanked if possible, and you'll do just fine because the gun can get you out of a very tricky situation most of the time. Let's compare it to some other tier 9 heavies that I think that are pretty alright as well. We will compare it to the Concord and the WZ-111 my 1.4, which is currently my favorite tier 9 heavy tank. and we see that the M103 is pretty much inferior to the Conqueror in every single way. Um, it has worse DPM, it has higher DPM than the WZ, but it has 90 less alpha damage. The 400 alpha damage is the lowest of its tier 4 heavy tank. The rate of fire worse than a Conqueror. Uh, both have 820 millimeter guns, so uh, that is that. But the ammo capacity is worse. The aim time at 2.3 compared to the 2 second on the Conqueror, 0.35 accuracy, 0.32 on the Conqueror. The dispersion is so much worse. Even though this gun can hit on the move, it's worse even than the WZ ones. The gun depression is where this thing is at its peak. It's not as good as the T32 that preceded it, which had 10, but it's okay, I guess. The forward speed is another letdown because this tank is agile to a certain degree, and it can accelerate up to it pretty easily, but it is not enough to take advantageous positions as the WZ can. The horsepower to it is better than the Conqueror, which means that it can slightly out accelerate it. The hull armor is better than the Conqueror, it has to be said, but the turret is a lot worse because the Conqueror had its turret cheeks buffed from 154 to 254, I think. So it means that the turret is a lot better on the Conqueror than this. The view range is worse than the tier 8 that preceded it, which is another drawback. And that is it really. That sums up the M103. It's a jack of all trades, but it's not like the Conqueror, which is also a jack of all trades. It gets outclassed really. So if you ask me, I would just put it in the lower part of the tier 9 heavies. Let's take a look into what equipment you should mount. Go with rammer, go with vertical stabilizer, and for a third either optics or vents, whichever suits you the most. I've gone for vents personally because I like to make the gun even more accurate and faster aiming, because this thing is all about the gun really. And another thing to note, when it comes to the guns, you have two options really. Two 120mm guns. The 105, you should not ever use that. This was bad even at tier 8, it's even worse now, so skip with free XP to this gun, and you can just go to the E5 if you want. You cannot, if you want, you cannot even get the turret, but the turret is rather cheap at 25k experience, but the gun is 60k, so it's rather a tough deal if you want, if you should get it or not. But it makes a difference. The question is, are you prepared to sacrifice 60k for it? I will now. You will now see two games, one with each gun, and from there on you can choose. I think that this was enough spreadsheet reading and theory crafting. Let's go into the battles. And off we go with the first replay. It's a standard battle on mines. It's a tier 10 game, but this tank has a very good. Both guns are okay if you want to meet tier 10s. As I said, I will put two replays. This is the first with the second gun, the one that is an M103 exclusive, and the second one will be with the third gun, the same one as on the M103. On mines, you have this a crest hill, which means that you can use and abuse your excellent turret armor, and to some degree, because we do have the hill. I will just try to push now and try to make my team aggressive as well. I know that we have to push on this side because the city is already pretty much lost, so we have to clear this up and get back for them. Now you will see the struggles that this gun has. Even the lower plate of the E75 at not a very good angle is a very tough proposition because it has a slightly worse penetration and the accuracy isn't as good and its aim time isn't as good. So this means that this gun is a lot hit dependent, but if you are willing to sacrifice some hit round, you can just grind to the E5 with no problem, I think. Here I risk taking a shot to take out the T54 because it is a T54 and it's very dangerous. I have another hit shell loaded for the T10, even though it is not needed. Now the enemy makes a very aggressive push to our Waffle Panzer 4, so I will go on top of the hill and snipe them because, as I said, a great gun depression plus an OK gun means that we should be fine. I switch back to AP now because I will shoot at the flanks of the enemy team, and I don't see a problem with shooting AP at this point. Now this next shot is really unbelievable. This would have never happened if I was using the E5 as gun, but that was that. We do put another shot into the VK, already up to 3.3k damage. We've had a very fast-paced game, I think. Now, Harrow into the VK side of the turret, and as I've seen that the ATOTB will probably take him out, I will go ham on this Yak Tiger here, because for now he's not even looking my way. I do put a shot into him, and this is where I've had a huge lag spike in the game, and that means that the object 430 sadly takes a hit. The Bulldog is also going ham on this Yak Tiger, and I will try to put another shot in. Do kill him, and now that there are only 3 tanks left and one of which is RT and they're both camping in base, the faster tanks will take care of him, and I think that we should not waste time. That was the last shot I have taken in this game, and let's take a look into the post-battle results. These are the post-battle results of that game. As you can see, ace tanker and nothing else really. I killed too many people to get a Confederate, was I think less than 100 damage away from my high caliber, so nothing, no battle hero medals, but I think we still did okay. We did finish top 1 experience and damage with 4.9k damage, 2 kills and 1.2k base experience, which puts us on top of our team. This was a real ruffle stomp really, nothing extraordinary. When you take a look into the enemy's team results, apart from the Yak Tiger, nobody did much really. If we look into the detailed report, we can see that we did fire 15 shots, 14 hit and 13 penetrated. It was an alright game. It showcased that this gun can do the job, but you have to load hits sometimes, and that is that. We did receive 6 hits, 3 penetrated and 3 bounced with 880 damage blocked by our armor. We did spot 1 vehicle, 7 were damaged and 2 were destroyed with 1000 assistance damage. Let's not waste any time and go into the second game. So off we go with the second game, and now we are with the Top Gun, the same as on the T110E5, obviously with worse soft stats. It's an encounter battle on El Khaluf, and now the matchup is greatly in my favor, with only 4 tier 9s on each side. It's a pretty standard matchup if you get a if you are a top tier tank. As you can see, the mobility is okay, but the top speed is worse, so that means when going downhill you get outpaced even by the 75, which is awesome really, compared to what armor that thing has got. But when you get to the uphill, this tank is alright. For now I haven't researched the engine yet as for this replay, but even as this even in this state the tank is alright. I think this T54 makes a questionable decision, uh, but I don't mind. I just take a free shot, free damage really, and that is that. Now I am worried about this M103. I do not want to trade this early in the game, so I will just stay here. I see that he fired, and I missed fire T2 the rocks beside me. I see that he is focusing down the IS2, and boom, 1.3k damage for free, hammer explosion, and that was that. Out aim at the T54 with 258 penetration. Um, uh, the T54's armor can be cut through like butter really. Another thing to note, and just look at that shot, I mean, with the previous gun that shot would have been pretty impossible if I'm honest. With this it's easy breezy, no problem at all. Another thing I forgot to mention in the garage is that you don't need the trucks to get the top turret and the top gun and the engine, so you can just skip them, but I researched them because with them the tank is more agile and the dispersion is a lot better. As with any top tracks, really, these E75s really make the annoying decision to just ram him and didn't give me the opportunity to shoot back. This 3057 is making some questionable plays, but that's fine by me if I'm honest, so I will just go on my ways. I see that all of their team is now basically camping, and as I auto aim at this 3090, even at an auto aim on the move of those kind of shots. The T54 is now putting a shot into me. I do fire on the move, miss, it doesn't matter. This AMX-30 attracts me, but since I was in the open I had to repair it. I see this T71 over here. We'll try to put a shot in him, pin him. As I said, this gun is very, very good, but is it worth 60k? I don't know. Because you do get for free when you unlock the E5, but if you want to get through the journey without it, that's up to you. This replay showcased both guns at its fullest, I think. I did saw that the RT was making a run for it, and I just I killed him. The FV takes out the Scorpion. I do receive a shot from the MX-30, and I just make a move now to try to kill these guys here. This artillery is also in the open, and I don't know what the Scorpion is saying that, because I was gonna kill him anyway. He was just gonna die 3 seconds later, but hey, that's not my opinion really. I do put a shot into the GW Tiger. I know that he is gonna get taken out, and as a quest he snapshots me even. Great. And as I try to put a shot into the MX-30, he gets taken out, and GG. let's take a look into the post-battle result. So here we are in the post-battle result of the second game. As you can see, I managed to pick up Ace Tanker, and this time from the Battle Hero medals I've picked up High Caliber. No denying I got lucky on the M103 ammo rack, but then again, sometimes that happens. If we look into the team score, we can see that we did finish top on experience, damage and kills with 5.3k damage, 4 kills and 1232 base experience, which is pretty alright for an ace. I've had higher experience games if I'm honest, but I've chose this one just because I wanted to showcase the great gun, the capabilities of the top gun. If you look into the detailed report, we can see that we did fire 17 shots and hit 13, but I think that was more down to us and our aiming than the gun, because over 12 hits, 12 penetrations, which with only one bounce on the E75, which was pretty random, where we shot his upper plate. We did have one sniping shot of 369 damage. We did receive 6 hits, 3 penned and 3 bounced, with 490 damage blocked by our armor. Spotted 2 vehicles, damaged 9 and destroyed 4 with 340 assistance damage. Anyway guys, that was my take on the M103. Compared to its predecessor, it trades armor for a much greater gun, tier for tier, and if I'm honest, that is fine by me. Sometimes the armor can be annoying because RNG can fuck you up and you will get pinned by every single shot you take, but most of the time the armor works and you can sort of rely on it. Just always go hull down and wiggle and peekaboo, as I said in the garage. Hope you enjoyed this video, and bye for now.